Welcome, everybody, to another special episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we're going through some of our biggest summer blockbusters of the year 2025. I am your host, Xavier, and with me are my fellow Popcorn Watchlist panelists. We've got Anthony, Danny, and Zach. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, what's going on?
So today we're gathering up to talk about one of the biggest action movies that we were anticipating this year. It was kind of in the can for almost a year, I think. I think Anthony always knows the story, but this movie had been already done and it just got pushed to coming out in sometime in May of 2025. It's very highly anticipated. After the magnum opus that was John Wick 4, we got super excited when we heard that there was going to be a spin-off movie starring Ana de Armas. We've seen her in bits and pieces doing a lot of cool action sequences in movies like
Die Another
what
Day.
was this?
No, not Die Another Day.
Not Die Another Day. I was like, wow, she must have
the
been like
last
12.
James Bond movie.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Daniel Craig.
I was gonna say A Good Day to Die Hard, but that's the fifth Die Hard movie.
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die. Yeah,
So
pretty great stuff.
the movie
ahead,
was announced in 2022, and then it was originally supposed to come out June of 2024, but then it got pushed back.
Yeah, it got pushed back almost an entire year, which really stunk because I think it would have done really well in 2024. But if those aren't enough clues, then we'll just give you the big old spoiler. We're talking about From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
You have to mention that part.
From the World of John
The
Wick.
whole title.
John Wick.
But guys, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. No. It's great
Yeah.
because if you look it up anywhere, all the stuff, it's just Ballerina, but the actual movie poster and even in the film when you're watching the opening credits and end credits, it's From the World of John Wick, Ballerina.
Yeah,
It's enough to know that it's there.
I think part of the reason why I got delayed was because of the strikes last year, but also since Chad Stahelski did not direct this one, he supposedly came in and looked at the movie and was like, "Hey, I think we can make it a little better," and he came on like late and essentially like helped them rework some of the scenes, like some of the action scenes, and kind of like became like a semi co-director and like helped them. I don't know what scenes he helped out with, but
Co-director, ghost director.
yeah, but he came in and was like, "Oh, let's spruce this up a bit," and so that could be another reason why it took another
Yeah.
year or
I
so.
mean, he does have a producer credit, which totally makes sense considering he's been tied to, a lot of these guys, and he's like the stunt guy in Hollywood right now, which rightfully so. It's great stuff. And Len Wiseman, the director, has done some action movies in the past, so it was a good way to kind of give him a bigger platform and see what he could do with some of the, full no holds barred action sequences we got in this movie. And so, speaking of action movies, that's kind of really what these movies are all about. It's just how do we frame the action to where it's exciting, it's fun, still tells a story.
How are you
and
creative with the stunts?
Exactly. And at the same time, like, how are you making it believable with the actors and, showcasing, what you can do? I like the fact, yeah, Danny said it perfect. It's creative. And, the movie basically was presented that it takes time in between John Wick chapter 3 and 4. And it kind of just goes right into like, here's some stuff that you recognize. Here's part, from part 3. And then here's a little bit of gap in the middle of it. And the main thing is that Ana de Armas plays Eve, a girl who grows up within the same group that John Wick grew up in, which was known as the Ruska Roma.
Mhm.
And she, instead of going to be an assassin, she is trained to fight, but also is trained with a kind of sort of mandate to protect. So that was a kind of cool, like a little mix of things, and at the same time, putting her into the main fold of what things that happened in her past to confront some of that while still being able to be who she is. So it's pretty cool stuff. you know, it goes right into like the opening sequence was like some really cool action stuff too. Uh, I think like this the whole movie, like Anthony likes to say, is just like one big action tapestry going from sequence to sequence, some good setup, and then balls to the wall action all the time.
Yeah, there's not much downtime in between the action scenes. It's pretty fast paced, especially
Yeah,
because it's
like
only like an hour and 40 minutes or so. So I'd say maybe an hour, maybe a little bit more than an hour of that hour and 40 is like action scenes.
yeah. Well, the like even starting off, like it's this whole thing where it's like, all right, hey, check this out, little girl with her dad, yay, everything's cool, but not all as it seems. It's like the guy's trying to hide from somewhere and then basically gets jumped. So like that first action sequence often like, this kind of like lake house, like lake castle kind of thing. And you have Eve's dad trying to protect her, doing some pretty badass stuff. Eve's dad was played by if you guys have seen Umbrella Academy, was played by David Castaneda, which until recently I was like it was unrecognizable. It's like I didn't really put two and two together because but it's pretty cool stuff. Like anything stand out in that sequence for you guys when it came to like the storytelling and then the gunplay and the hand to hand stuff.
At least for the beginning, it felt like it was a different time period, obviously, but they were still he was all in on the action and the stunts, the hand to hand. And then of course, I think Eve was kind of hiding at first, and he was like taking all the punches and hits, about to die until Eve came in.
Yeah, even then, like that's this whole thing where, like it was cool seeing Gabriel Byrne. Like I like Gabriel Byrne as an actor, so like coming him as like the villain is like, all right, this. So, his whole like it's kind of really messed up. It's like you either shoot me and we'll kill you or whatever, or you shoot yourself. You take the take it and try to kind of protect your daughter or whatever the case may be. So like that was kind of like, damn, these guys don't play. So like that was like a good establishment of okay, these guys are bad. Like definitely like these are the people we got to watch out for. Speaking of watching out, it's spoilers. So there will be some spoilers throughout the whole movie. We're gonna talk about the big action set pieces and like the little plot details that tie things together. So be wary if you have not seen it in theaters yet or seen it whenever you end up listening to this if it streams. Why the heck not? But yeah, that sequence I think was a good establishment of the protagonist, antagonist, and setting up Eve to go train and be
And
with the
just the
Rooster
pace
Robo.
of the movie too.
Yeah, it was nice to see like Ian McShane as Winston. I don't know if like Anthony's really good at usually catching these, but like young Winston, like it was still Ian McShane, but was that a mix of do you think CG and makeup or just makeup? To me, like with the lighting and stuff, it might have been just makeup.
Um, I would say maybe a little bit of both. It was probably mostly makeup, and they might have done a touch of de-aging. But yeah, I mean, and if it was de-aging, it looked pretty good because, like you're saying, you probably didn't even notice it, and it just made it seem like the makeup was well done. So it's very possible it was either a mix of both, or maybe just all de-aging, and it's just that good now. But no,
I
I'm
mean,
not sure. I didn't look it up.
I I don't
It
think
looked pretty good to me. I mean, he looked
yeah,
like
because
a younger version of himself, slightly younger, because it was only within the timeline, like a not even like a year, maybe like at least when actually, yeah, at the beginning of the movie, it would only be what, like a 10-year difference from when we see him in like the first John Wick. So yeah, it might have been a little bit de-aging.
Yeah.
well, I feel like for that scene, I didn't really notice anything off, um, in terms of trying to them trying to de-age him in some way. I mean, unless there was like a little bit of makeup to cover up some of the wrinkles, I guess. But even then, I like nothing seemed out of place.
Yeah, like I at least that's why like it fooled me. I'll admit it. Like I don't feel ashamed to say so. So I was like, damn, that's pretty dope. So like I like Ian McShane in as an actor. Fun fact, I think obviously other than like Deadwood, I think the movie's not great, but he's a standout person in this movie. Was the Hercules movie with The Rock? He was pretty cool in it. Also, Pirates 4.
Yeah,
And he was
Pirates
also
4. He's
great.
awesome in Pirates 4.
Blackbeard.
He was also great as the voice of Tai Lung in Kung Fu Panda.
Yes, that is absolutely
That's
correct.
true.
I mean, what a great
He's always
character.
good. He's solid. He's a good
Yeah,
actor.
he's always good. 100%. So like that's our whole setup, and then we kind of get to a cool training montage of Eve growing up and training while also learning to be a dancer, which you know, that stuff's rough. Like, ballet training, especially at that high, prestige elite level ballet training is destroys your feet. I don't know how like it's you got to give props to, ballet dancers, both male and female, because that stuff's rough. But at the same time, they're learning, sambo, judo holds. They're learning weapon gunplay. They're learning combat strikes. So it's cool to kind of see like her struggling in a sense, and she's not like 100% perfect. I think a lot of good action movies work well when the protagonist isn't like 100% perfect. I call it like the Die Hard, like sort of like a like yeah, it's like not Die Hard like syndrome, but like sort of like the Die Hard archetype, where like yeah, this person is a little bit like like they're competent, but maybe they're not like 100% like the ultimate like stone cold killing like walking boss fight that like John Wick is at this point. But so it's cool to see her like go through this training and then possibly even struggle. So like we see that in the first other like major action set piece, which is in that she has to like protect some girl from getting kidnapped at a like one of those cool cold like ice clubs. I don't know. By the way, I don't know if I've ever been in one of those, but they look
I have
fancy.
I have not.
Like an ice bar.
Yeah,
It
like
was
an ice
obviously
bar.
the Iceberg Lounge, guys.
Well, I'm not that
Should have.
cool, man.
For
Not
anyone that knows anything about DC.
yeah, man. I'm not hip enough to be invited to Penguin's Iceberg Lounge. That's okay. Fine. But yeah, that sequence was a cool establishment of like, okay, like how is she gonna do this? They gave her like rubber bullets, I think, which was or yeah, like which is cool. Like it's like, hey, like we can even do non-lethal stuff. Although the movie has some pretty lethal stuff in there, but it was cool to see her have to work with some of those parameters. Um, like I'm pretty sure like they're like everything from when she kind of jumps in to try to protect like the whole fight sequence is on ice, like the using the like a lot of like the tools around it to kind of like break ice and having to fight off like the main guy that you thought was like, oh, I'm just the boss. No, he's actually like the final boss where Eve has to fight him in order to protect the girl. That whole sequence is cool. Like I don't know if you guys remember. I'll put it out to you guys. Anything from that fight sequence that stood out to you?
I mean, the whole thing, I don't remember or I don't think I've seen a movie. And if I have, it's not like this, a movie that has had a like a good and like intricate action sequence on ice, like without people using ice skates. I'm not talking about Batman and Robin with their
Damn it, I
ice
knew you
skates.
could say Batman and Robin. I hate it.
I'm not talking about that, but
Whatever.
like other than that, I don't recall another movie that has a fight scene like this because this is a John Wick movie and the fight sequences are very well done. And I thought all of it was cool. I mean, she was struggling. Like it wasn't like, oh, she was perfect and whooping everybody. Like she was sliding, the bad guys were sliding, trying to hit her, and she was blocking and then slipping. Like it was
Like
a
it seemed
mess.
real.
Yeah, it was a messy fight, but like
He got thrown through
as,
ice like once or twice.
yeah, there
The
are a
bad
lot
guy
of
was doing
cool,
taekwondo kicks through ice. Like it was
yeah, a
cool.
lot of
No
cool
pun
and
intended.
imaginative ways to use it to her advantage and even the other people's advantage. Some of those guys were pretty rough as well. Um, but yeah, I liked it. It was cool, and gotta have a club scene. This was the club scene of this movie.
Keep saying cool, but no, I'm kidding. Like she had like, did she fight? I don't know if she fought with like an ice hammer or an ice pick, but
Yeah, it was a nice pick.
yeah, that was always really freaking cool too. That like it was added like an extra layer of like, damn, it's who's gonna score the hit? Like how like rough is it gonna be? It was really cool. Like I liked it a lot. Zach or Danny, anything else?
Just
What's it-
visually, it looked cool with the music in the background.
Cool.
I was gonna say that just to add like to what Anthony was saying, where it seemed like a realistic type of fight where the actors are having to adapt to the environment that they're in rather than it being like a perfect fight where it's like they have perfect grip, like they're not sliding all over the place. The ice is gonna create an obstacle for them. There are a few times where they're falling and they're sliding off the side of the platform of ice for where other people were like standing and dancing and stuff. So I think adding that level of realism also adds like a level of stakes for the characters. Like they have to fight people while also trying not to fall over and potentially that being the reason why they get killed, for example.
Yeah, like could you imagine like just like the complete like, oh, this is like really dumb if like those guys showed up and they're like, look, we have ice shoes. Get out of here, dude. Like you didn't know that was gonna happen. Like that would have like been so hokey. So
That
I'm
would have
glad they
happened
didn't do
in an
that.
80s movie.
Yeah, it might
Probably.
have. No, it would have been a 90s toyetic movie, Batman and Robin. To always
Yeah, I feel like it would have been way too much to just have uh they just conveniently have like spikes on their shoes or something.
yeah.
Take a
And what was
chill pill.
cool,
Take a jump.
but killed the dinosaurs.
The Ice Age.
What was cool, what I enjoyed too was the fact that like when the final boss dude was trying to like was trying to stop her and take her out, like it was she was going for a lot of the strong hits, but like there wasn't so much like a kill. So I was like, okay, like this isn't like like there's a little bit of a like a hesitation before she does it. I don't remember if like we saw that scene where she had to like assemble the gun quick enough and then it was like, okay, like she had to assemble a gun quicker before this other girl that came through and it was like, hey, you have to like eliminate and kill her in order to pass like your final test. Was the club scene before or after? I forget.
It was after, because after that test, then I think the movie shows like, oh, a few months later, and I think it's like one of her like first missions,
And that's the protection.
and
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then after that, I think is the club scene.
Uh-huh.
I,
Okay.
if I remember correctly, I only saw it once, so
Yeah.
but
Was it the yeah, was that the also the club scene? Because before that was the whole where like she had to like take or was it after I think it was after the club scene where she took there was another thing where like she had to take a picture of like, hey, this is the assassination that was done. And then she goes through and then there's like wreckage of everything.
okay, no, yeah, this it's all the same scene. Yeah, it's like they show as she's walking through whatever hotel or room that she's in, like you see all the damage that she's done and the people that she's either killed or knocked out as she's walking away. And then that's when she like takes the elevator back up to the oh no, wait, see, that's not the club scene. I think
That was
that's
after the
another
club
sequence.
scene. Yeah. I think it was
Right.
after the club scene. Yeah, because then yeah, the club scene, you get that other sequence, you're like, okay, she got better. Like she knows what she's doing now. Like there's just all these people just straight up murdered. She's grabbing because she's grabbing all the knives I think that she
Right.
used. She's like, mine, that one's mine, this one's mine, here, this one's mine, and then like she has to like kick the body off the elevator and be like, okay, cool, that's mine. And then she gets out of the elevator, and then these guys are like, we gotta go to the elevator. She's like, I don't know what's going on, mister, and then leaves. And then we have that like quick. But I think
Hold
after that was where we get the alleyway sequence, right?
Yeah, because that was her in the alley, like leaving um leaving that area where she just like I guess murked all those people in that floor, that VIP area. But yeah, the club scene, I think I think that was her first mission to protect that girl because remember they didn't give her actual bullets in her gun.
Yeah, the rubber ones.
Yeah. But yeah, did we talk about I know you talked about some of her like the montage of her training and all that,
Yeah.
but I liked that, they were like teaching her like, hey, like remember there's usually most likely gonna be like a bigger person than you. So you have to like change the rules of the fight. Like you have to fight like what you're good at, and that kind of like sets the tone to how she is throughout the movie. Because throughout the movie in the action scenes, it's kind of like more of like a Jackie Chan movie where she uses like everything around her and her like speed and her agility to use everything around her to smack and kill, do whatever with anything that she has around her. Because she can't just like out punch someone who's like twice or three times her size. So she's got to be more creative. And so yeah, that's it. And you see that in the club sequence, and then you see that you pretty much see like the progression in each sequence of like how she gets better. I
The
thought that was
ultimate in
cool.
resourcefulness.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, that's like cool to see like some of the character development on that, and just like okay, like yeah, here we go. Like like pick this up here, or like like that after she gets out of there, like she gets jumped by this dude with the this dude in the car, and that has that whole like sequence where she got hit, gets out. There's like a whole bunch of gunplay. Like
that's pretty
that
cool.
sequence was nuts. That was like you thought you escape a surprise bonus level. And I think there was a I think a kingpin car door slam, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to know how they shot that because she's like in the car, and then like the other car comes in like T-bones her car, and as like it's sliding down the alley, she like gets out of the car and she's like sliding along with the car, and then like waits to like for the cars to brake, and then she like turns around and then shoots the guy in the car.
Like the camera was overhead at first,
Yeah,
and then it like
it was
drops
cool.
down and follows.
I know some of it was
That was
CGI.
full
Like the other
CGI.
car looked CGI when it was coming to hers, but then once the collision happened and then they were both sliding, it looked pretty real to me, or at least some of it. So yeah, I would like to see how they did that.
Yeah, I think it was CGI up until that point where like the camera drops back down and it's
Mhm.
more the close up. Like that's where it transitions from the CGI to the live action.
That's a good call because there's camera trickery that you can apply towards. That's kind of like when like there's some action movies where the main character or the main actor isn't too skilled, but they need to do a lot of fighting. They'll do top down fighting, make sure that like this is the person with a wig or this is what this person is doing, and then they're able to mask the fight. It's all top down. There was a while like in the mid 2010s that they were doing a lot of that, and that was really annoying. But that's going away. Hooray. I'm primed. But from there, that's where we get the whole like plot point of like, hey, who's that guy who that she killed? She's like, who is this? We get more Angelica Houston as the director, which I love. Like, she's great. If you guys remember her as Morticia Adams, I also remember her from The Witches. Really freaking cool. She's also in Ever After. If you saw that movie with
Drew Barrymore.
Barrymore and Doug Ray Scott, that's a
Oh boy.
callback to our Mission Impossible episode. But she's great. Like it's great to have her back doing stuff, and she's there kind of telling and warning her like you don't want to go down this path, like this is not good, like we don't want to do that. And so she starts following the breadcrumbs. She asks Winston, and Winston's like, yeah, I'll hook you up with some stuff, but only a little bit. And then from there we it ties to more action, more big stuff. Like after, like, we got to talk about like the whole sequence where she's at the Continental in Prague, because the whole idea is like, oh, you have to find this guy named Daniel Pine, played by Norman Reedus. So it's cool seeing Norman Reedus do some cool stuff with a shotgun, and you have that whole like we're gonna conduct business on the Continental, and you guys have seen John Wick, that's a no. So that was really cool too, seeing like how they can handle all of that, and then how Eve can justify like, yeah, you can't kill me because I'm not the one who started doing business. And it all turns out that like they're running after Daniel Pine and his daughter Ella. So uh, that was a cool sequence. How like she kind of snuck into the room and then just kind of like figured stuff out. You could tell she has a soft spot for girls, or like for children because little girl that was her growing up. And then that's where we kind of get the central plot of the movie. Like, hey, these people you're running away from. What's it all about? But that was a cool little sequence. We got more continental fighting. The room was a really nice room. Like, damn. Like,
Yeah, that was a
talk about that.
crazy room. It was like 2 or
Hotel
3
is
rooms put
fancy.
together.
Yeah, like, okay, and they're like, oh, we gotta find uh, like one room that is like, or the room that keeps ordering room service with a whole lot of ice cream. That was a really cool like kind of hint as to what that was going on there.
I like the trap that he set on the front door, where he just had like a gun ready to shoot whoever was gonna try to open the door. So it's a good thing she went in the room in the outside in the window.
Oh yeah, she would have got
Yeah.
hardcore. Yeah.
Did we mention the first sighting of Mr. Wick? No, right?
Oh no, that was the whole point where his ticket was torn and he went over
That was during the
Tunisia.
montage of like her training, right?
Yeah, after her training was ended, she's like, "Ooh, I'm this now," and then it's like, "Oh wait,
Yeah. So
whoops."
the first time they show during the montage she's training, there's a moment where she's seeing Angelica Houston's character like walking, well, either up or down the stairs, and then she sees that she's talking with John Wick, and we know that that was a scene, I think, from the third movie, from John Wick 3, where she's like complaining about like, oh, how he got in this mess, like all for a dog because they killed his dog.
Yeah, or for a puppy, and he's just like, "Ugh, can't.
And
Don't be
then
slandering the puppy."
yeah, and then she meets with him for like a brief scene just to like ask him like how didn't was she ask him like how if he's planning to get out, or like how
How
is
do
the
I
life.
make it out?
Yeah,
Or
how to make it out, and he's like, "Oh, the door's open." He's like
Yeah,
he's
he's
like, "The
like,
doors are unlocked. You could just go if you want."
I love that. Yeah, it's like you could still just walk out. He says it like I always love John Wick's cadence of speech because it's kind of this whole like
The doors
I
open.
don't want to say things, man. Like just everybody leave me alone, sort of. Like I just want to do my thing.
Yeah, because to a lot of the recruits in this movie, when they see him, like they all know who he is because he's still known as the Baba Yaga, as like he's the guy. And at that point where she meets him, it was already where, I guess like everybody was looking for him, and he was like on the run. So it was just like, oh, we have like a celebrity in our midst. And she's like, I have to talk to this guy because
Yeah, it's like
he's a
I need to
badass.
know. Yeah, I need to know, Mr. Wick. And he's just like, well, like there you go. Like it's fine. Like it's not. It's like what
And
is
he
it?
was, then he tell her like, I'm still trying to get out. He's like,
Yeah,
I did, but I'm still trying.
I'm still trying. I think it said. But yeah, like I like the whole idea where it's like, she's just still, holding on to some stuff. She has her being like the Kikimora instead of he's the Baba Yaga, she's the Kikimora, so it's supposed to be more like a avenging, protecting spirit. At least that they're doing so. It's cool that like the Ruska Roma blend in some more Slavic mythology into their, into what they do. So it makes you think if there's other like societies under the table that have their own things, so it's just getting more and more of that world is always cool. So that's like one of the big draws of watching the movie. I was like, damn, this is so cool. So like that's that whole sequence that they try to get out. They shoot Daniel Pine, which I was like, oh, he's dead. And then they take the girl, they take Ella, and then Eve kind of gets up again. she gets out of the Continental and she finds this guy, like a procurer of hunting supplies named Frank, and then that leads into the second crazy like
Oh, that was when she was asking, pretty much like the scene in John Wick 2 where he's like getting the different types of
yeah,
guns
instead
and
of a
weapons.
sommelier, you're getting like
It's like a hunting
a
man.
hunter apparel. Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool.
I need some sporting goods. Like, oh, here's some sporting
What
goods
kind?
that you would like. Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. Here's all this stuff, and then like the 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 Harchdog or whatever like society cult like is jumping after her still, and it's like that guy's just like, oh damn it, like I already said too much, just trying to like get you over there, and it's like it leads into this crazy action sequence where it's just like it's like, did you like grenades? Well, we made a whole action sequence about grenades.
It's like,
Literally the best part.
do you not have any other weapons in this movie except for grenades? Perfect. This is the movie for you. Like,
Dude, like and like Danny said, this is probably one of my favorite sequences in the entire
yeah,
movie.
it was awesome.
It was
Yeah, the kills
ridiculous.
were insane.
Okay, come on. Like, so the whole thing,
This
like,
is
they're
where we
running
talk about
away.
the creative kills.
Yeah, like, so, like, like this dude Frank, he's trying to like run away. He's like, oh damn, like I'm not trying to get involved. I'm just running away. So then she runs up to like this, like the top part of the attic, and it's like, oh, she's cornered, right? So you see the box of grenades, like, okay, nice. Like they're gonna show up. There, she's gonna throw one grenade. No, she throws the whole damn box.
I
That
mean,
that
they had a whole bunch of boxes there. She's like, I still got more.
dude, like she just throws the
So,
box at the guy, and the guy, like the what that poor guy, just like, what the hell, like, what in the holy f, and then just blows up, and then more grenades fall down and blow up even more, even more, like
and like
if you're get,
it
it's
destroys the stairs that were there for them to like come down, and it's like it was just mayhem. That
yeah,
place was a lot
absolute
bigger
mayhem.
than I thought it was.
Yeah, that guy was that
Cool.
guy had a lot of supplies, like this dude, just absolutely nuts. Like I think she tried. I think was there a point I think she had another weapon. I don't know if it was a shotgun or something, and then they got knocked
Yeah, she
out.
got it. She got it later, but for the majority of the beginning it was like her trying to keep away from them, and any time that she felt like she was cornered, it was just like, oh, it's grenade time.
It's boom boom time. Like okay, the one part that was awesome was like when she had the door and the guy
Oh
was trapped
my
and she threw
goodness.
the grenade on the guy. Like that was really freaking good.
She put it in his mouth. She
Unnecessary
shoved it in his
roughness.
mouth and then just like closed the door because this was like a massive like steel door.
Steel door.
And yeah, the movie's a little cartoony at times, but it was awesome.
And like it was in very small doses. Like I was okay with that. Like there was also like a lot of like, oh, we're just gonna throw like knives at people and like axes at people's heads, which I'm always a fan of. I'm like, dude, just like anytime there was an axe or like a throwing object, I'm like, please headshot it,
Do it.
and they delivered
I mean,
a
then there was
headshot.
Headbutt
the,
at nothing.
then there was the guy that I guess she like carries over and throws over from the
Oh
table.
God. Because it
And
was
then
the strap, right? The strap that had like
yeah,
I don't know, like 6 grenades on it. It was like a belt strap that had a bunch of grenades on it.
and
Oh
then
my God.
blocked herself with the table, but he's with the grenades and just blows up.
Because
I want
what
to know
she
how
I think
deaf she was after that fight.
she threw, so what, she throws like the belt around the guy's neck and then like unclips one of the grenades and then like runs forward and jumps over the table and then lands on the other side of the table while the guy's neck like snaps on the table, and then all the grenades explode and so his head explodes.
He died like 5 times.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
like he turned
crazy.
into chunks, but like yeah, like his neck broke on the table and then blew up. I'm just like, damn,
D.
like he's just
I think
got.
that the whole theater's like, oh my God.
Dude, I think from again from the initial chucking of the entire box, the whole theater's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? Like it just set the tone of just rambunctious, ridiculous, over the top, crazy action. That was nuts. And then Frank comes back and he's like, he's like, I wouldn't, I don't know where they are, but if I were to go somewhere, you may want to look at around here. And now I gotta go forever. And then he gives her like this cool ass Mustang to drive, and then she ends up going to this like idyllic like winter vacation village, but like she's getting weird looks, and I thought, oh, she's getting weird looks because the car is so badass, like whatever, like
Oh,
totally
before
cool.
before we keep going on there, the famous quote from Frank, he says, "May I be Frank?"
And he has like a
Wow,
tag. I was just
then
like,
with the name
yes.
tag.
Like, may I be frank? It's like, it'd be weird if you weren't. Like, okay. Like, just surprise. I'm not Frank.
Oh wait, and also the guy that got the grenade in his mouth and then like she used the door, didn't that also create like a hole in the wall and she like
Yeah,
went
it
to the
did.
next room?
And she's like, here
That's
I
how she
go.
escaped. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Again, creative and resourceful. It's so good.
Yeah, and then
Miss Mc-
throughout the rest of the scene, she finds other weapons. She uses a shotgun at one point, does some cool gung fu, just like in John Wick. But she usually uses them in like a smaller capacity because then she either throws the gun and then finds another weapon. And yeah, she's more like running around the whole area looking for things to take and use versus like I'm just gonna out finesse you because I'm John Wick. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool like alternative way to show like she's not just a John Wick clone. Like she has to do things a little differently.
yeah, it's a different. And again, like either perfect. It's different characters, so different styles of fighting in terms of having to work with what they have. A big credit to Ana de Armas for being up to doing something like this and being able to do a lot of it. And you know, almost all of it's her. So it's incredible stuff. The choreography, the skills to being able to like use some of the weapons. It's really freaking cool. And then so from there, it's like she gets to this town, and then the town is kind of like, okay, like, hey, this person is like something's up with this place, and then like all hell breaks loose in this
Like
restaurant.
everyone knows each other in the town, and then you have the little like mom with the kid, and they're
Like
like, "Oh,
let's
let's leave the restaurant."
Man,
leave the
everybody leaves the
restaurant, and
restaurant.
then we'll come back into the restaurant. Like holy shit! Like and they realize, hey, this girl is clearly skilled. She has skills that pay the bills.
She knows
So
how to use
it's
plates.
That was like the funny creative one because it was just like you got to use everything in your environment that's not a weapon.
And,
yeah.
and they were both just smacking each other with plates. I'm pretty sure that was like straight out of a Jackie Chan movie. I feel like I've seen that before, but it's always funny.
I wonder like when they got the shot and they see it, like that had to have been very like fun and rewarding to do. Obviously probably grueling, but at the end of it, it's like we got it. That's great. And then like that fight goes from the bottom floor to then the top floor, and then there's reinforcements in the top floor, and then like the one person that she fights, she ends up like sticking in
The
the
freezer.
freezer.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, you're dead. Like it's game over.
I think it's the same lady, the plate lady.
Yeah, yeah, because they fought
I
really
think
hard.
she was one of the cooks. Like she came out of the kitchen to start fighting her.
Yeah, and then what's ironic, I think in the end she ends up eating a knife to the head.
Yeah, I think it was one of those like cleavers.
Yes, yeah, anything. Yeah, it
Eating?
was a meat cleaver, dude. Again, meat cleavers, axes, getting chucked. I was like, this is great. This movie's great.
But like,
Yeah, like
but that lady was like the final person. She went through like I don't know a bunch of guys. Um, like on the first and second floor. A bunch of guys throwing her across tables and
yeah,
wasn't there.
shattering
Yeah,
glass
wasn't
and
there like
yeah,
a glass? I don't even know. I don't think it was an aquarium, but it was some glass like
it's like a sculpture or
wall. Yeah, it's
like a
something, and
wall. Yeah, it's like a
she's just
glass
getting
like edifice. I don't
she's
know.
she's getting ragdolled all over the place, and yeah, like so like that was one of the things I liked about this movie. Like it wasn't just like easy, like I can just take care of everybody. Like she was going through it, and you could see like like her like the rage of her like I gotta like rage out and like kill these people fast because she's getting knocked out.
Yeah, like and it's like barely any time to breathe because then after all that, she's running away. She ends up getting like cornered at one spot. It's like again, the rest of the entire town is like just like it reminded me of, like Resident Evil 4, where like the whole town is coming after you, and you're just like, okay, like how do I like just keep away for this long time? Like what am I supposed to do? Like she's running on rooftops, she's sliding down on stuff. Like I think wasn't there people trying to shoot her from the roof too?
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
Like if the whole entire town was either armed or chasing her to try to stop her.
yeah, and uh, that's where we end up. Like she gets like caught, and before they kill her, they realize like, oh wait, this is a plot twist. You get the chancellor,
This part's weird.
which you explain.
With the plot twist.
Yeah,
But like the main like security lady for Gabriel Burns' character, the one that's kind of been chasing her around since the hotel sequence with
the
the
Prague
little
sequence.
girl. Yeah, yeah. And then they find out that she's Eve's
Her older
sister.
sister.
Yeah, her older like long lost sister. Um and it's just like, and then they talk for one scene, and then they like kind of, what do they rocket launch her or throw
No,
grenades
there are
in the
more
room?
grenades.
Yeah, they throw grenades in a room, and
Flashbangs.
then yeah, a
Yeah.
bunch of grenades explode, and then I think it explodes close enough to her sister, and I guess she bangs her head somewhere, and she just dies. So it's like, so they have a plot twist. They talk about it for like 2 minutes, and then she dies.
No,
It was
because the
kind of
chancellor's
useless.
like, yeah, no, because the chancellor's like kill her. Like, remember,
No, he
like they
said
were in
kill
the
them
room
both.
together.
Yeah, he was straight
Oh
up
yeah,
was
kill them
like, oh,
both.
kill
Yeah,
them
he's
both.
just like
Like,
murder them. Like this
yeah.
guy is so like protective of their society that they're like kind of subgroup. They just like murder any plot at all. Like if there's any doubt in the bonds of the community, no, you're dead. That's it.
Yeah,
It's out of here.
total a-hole. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just
But
felt
he had
like
a truce
I
with the director of the Ruska Roma.
I just don't understand why they even bothered to have that twist if it was just like done with so quickly. It was kind of weird. It's like they could have just taken it out and not have that, and I don't think much would have changed with the movie.
I think
They
they
could have,
needed. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm okay with the twist, but I think like make it more of their like, oh, this now her sister that you know who she is like has more of a conflict, of
yeah,
more of
like
like
I
a whoa, like but our dad was a traitor and all this stuff. Oh, wait, my sister's here and like she's doing stuff like this with me. Like okay,
right.
like there's
I just feel
yeah
like there should have been more time with it. I'm fine with it too if they either like had it shown earlier or had longer after they had the twist. But to be like in the next scene, it's over with because she's dead. It's like, oh,
yeah. I've been
then
chasing you
what
this
a
whole time. Wait a
strange,
minute, you're
yeah,
my sister, and then the
what a
chancellor's
strange
like kill
twist.
them both.
Wait a minute, she's my sister. Let me go talk to her. And
No,
then
Like
they
let's
have,
go kill them
they
both.
and then
Yeah,
boom.
because that was the whole point where that girl, Eve's sister, like was captured her, and then she's speaking to the chancellor,
Mhm.
and then Eve escapes, and then it's like, then then she chases her down, and then they have their like, oh my god, yeah, we're family and
Yeah,
all this stuff, and then
because
it was the death.
they almost made it seem like this lady was kind of gonna turn around and maybe help Eve like get out, 'cause now that she knows like it's her sister,
That's what I
and that's
thought. That's gonna be like
and
a
that's
Eve
probably
and
why
don't
like
come
I was
back.
like, oh, kill them both. But I kind of would have liked it better if maybe for not all of it, but maybe for the majority of the rest of the sequence, like it's both of them trying to get out, and then maybe by the end of it, maybe it's John Wick who kills her because that's what happens at the end of the sequence or near the end of the sequence. But like she just straight up dies right after the reveal, and it just felt so weird.
Yeah, if
well,
only
because
like
it
it's
was only in that opening sequence where they mention a sister anyway.
Right.
When it's assumed that she was killed or something. I can't remember the exact thing.
or she
Um,
was left behind. I think that they talked about like, or she got left behind, or like there was yeah, like I remember. You're right, Zach. Like the way they worded it was like, I don't think that girl's dead. Like I think she's just like, something happened where she was either taken away or brought somewhere,
oh
and
no,
then it's
I
like,
was under the
yeah,
impression she was dead.
nah, nah. Then because then they talked about the mother being dead. It's like okay, that makes sense, but it's like, I think maybe if they might what it I assumed happened is that the Eve's dad stayed with Eve, and then Eve's mom went with the other sister. So then they tracked down the mother, and then they took the sister back. And then
Is
that
that
would have
that's creepy?
happened. Yeah, they would have done the same thing with Eve, but Eve's dad was a badass, and then bled out to death like a champ. And then she got picked up by the cops, went to Winston, and then they were we're here now. We're here now. We're basically, Eve's on the run in this town that they're all looking for her, and you know, the chancellor is yelling at the director like, "Oh, you're Ruska Roma, Kikimura's after me. Like you're breaking a truce." And she's like, "No, there's no truce. I'll fix I'll fix this because they the cult people put a bounty on Eve, and then it's just like, okay, cool. I'll get someone to settle it." So then it's like, okay, then the person to settle it is none other than John Wick, which is pretty wild. Like you have this like I don't know if you guys ever played again another Resident Evil reference, but like in Resident Evil like 2 and 3, there's always like this like menacing like boss figure that's running around trying to chase you. And like once John Wick showed up on the train, I'm here thinking, great, like John Wick is now gonna play like a tyrant or a nemesis where it's just, oh, I'm gonna chase you, like I'm gonna have to chase you and send you back or send you away. He's like, he's like, they're not trying to kill her. He's just like, just walk away, dude. Like, stop trying to fight me. I'm just beating your ass senseless. Like, just walk away. And so that's something I guess like gets to him. So he's to where she's like, oh, like give me until midnight. And he's like, okay, fine, you have until midnight. And then it's like, it's kind of like, I love how the town is like, John Wick is gone missing. Like we don't know where John Wick is. And and then it's like,
Like
oh,
we have
and then-
another problem.
yeah, we have another problem. John Wick's missing, and they're like, what?
Yeah,
What do
this
you
is
think, John?
after he pretty much like whoops her.
Yeah, he beats her senseless. It's just like, go home, like
It's like
leave here.
throughout the movie, they show how good she is, and then it's like, but she's not as good because he's just like, you shouldn't be doing this. You could still walk away. He's like, I'm gonna stop. She tried to get him a few times, and he's like, I could just reverse that. Like he always pulled the Uno reverse card on her. Like I think it was like 4 times. She
Yeah, and
tried
it was
doing
like a
like
really
her,
good move. Like there was
yeah, like
solid, like
she
okay,
tried
he's
doing
trying. It's just like
like
no,
twists and jumping on him, and then he's like, I could do that too, and then he like rolls on the floor and then puts her in like an arm bar.
no. He
And,
checkmated her 3 times. It's like,
yeah,
come on, like please stop. Like just don't like. And you could tell he was like mildly annoyed, but he still felt bad for her because he's like, look, I get it. Like I've done the whole revenge thing. Uh, this is totally there, but like, look where
and
I'm at now.
He got trained by the same people.
Yeah. But more importantly, like thematically, like this is like, look, like I'm trying to protect you from being me. Like this is not
Mhm.
what you want. It was really cool to see that. Like, okay, like
And that's when
this
she
can't
tells
be
him
happening.
like, this is just like, I'm just here because they killed my father.
Yeah.
He's
It's
like, all
like,
right, well, do what you got to do.
and then by midnight, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna have to do. So, and then that was like a whole thing where like even the director's like, what the hell is this guy doing? Whatever. So it's like then she goes in. That's where we get like the final like action sequence where she goes in. She goes into like my favorite. I think one of my favorite sequences. My second favorite sequence in the movie, other than was the when she gets to like it's sort of like not a lake house, but like a mini like a little dock or a pier to go off into the river. And like she finds some weapons and she finds ice skates.
Oh, yeah.
The moment she grabbed the ice skates, I think we were all thinking the same thing. I'm like, please use these as like a type of tied weapon to like do some really cool stuff. Like I need it. It was like a little bit like Violent Night,
Hmm.
where like you have ice skates. So that was incredible. And like I think then like one of them like came off and she chucked it at a guy again and he got hit in the head. It was great.
She was using them kind of like nunchucks at one point.
Yeah, yeah, like slice, cut, and then chucked him. It was awesome. Yeah, so at this point, she's trying to chase down the Chancellor to rescue Ella, and there's more gunplay at the same time. Like John Wick's like playing sniper, and they're like, "Oh, John Wick's going whatever." And so like now they're trying to like fight John Wick, and he's like, "Dude, I cannot believe," or like not he can't believe, but he has this look of like, "Okay, fine," and then finally like it's like, "Oh, we got the jump on him." No, no one gets the jump. Not many people get the jump on John Wick. So like it was cool. Like we got to see like him in small doses that showed that he's still like this world's like ultimate badass. But I think we got to probably Danny's like second favorite part once they're like, oh, she's in the armory, it's just like, uh-oh, what do we get? What we saw in the trailers all the time?
We got the flamethrower.
Dude, this whole movie was a pyromaniac's dream. There's so much fire in this movie. Like they let loose with the flamethrower. Like from where she got to the flamethrower, Danny, it was just like it was like all bets are off. Everybody has all the flame retardant gel. Everybody's getting burnt. And like it was cool. Like the way they
And she
introduced
even
us like
had the jacket or the protective like for the other flamethrower.
yeah, you have like the foiled flame retardant jacket. You needed that 'cause, like dude, that was out of hand.
Yeah, kudos
It's
to everyone in that scene because they said that there was no like special effects in that scene. There was no CGI, there was nothing. It was just like
Oh, that's cool.
it was the fire and the stunt work, and that was it. So like everything that you saw in the movie, like that was done real in camera, which is crazy.
yep.
Considering
Everybody got a
how long they used these these flamethrowers. It wasn't just like one little we shot it once. I was like, no, it was like a more than 5 minute sequence with multiple flamethrowers.
it's a flamethrower shootout. Like that's
Yeah.
nuts, guys. I don't think like we've seen something at like that something to that effect in an action movie and done this well with so much detail. That was so cool. Like
And then
yeah, and then
and then
Real
when
quick,
you ran well, go.
real quick, because I wanted to say something because I don't know if you're gonna go away from talking about the flamethrower scene.
no, we're not.
No, we're still there.
We're there.
Okay, no, because I just wanted to throw in
We're
here real
letting it
quick.
simmer. We're just
Good
turning
one.
up the heat. I got it. Too many. I'm gonna stop. Go ahead, Zach.
I have a bit of an unpopular opinion about this whole thing.
Oh.
Okay.
I think the whole flamethrower thing just kind of dragged on for too long. Like the first couple minutes were cool, and then afterwards I was kind of like sick of it. I was like, okay, can we do something else, use other weapons or like hand to hand combat or something? Because then the next 10 minutes was like just nothing but flamethrowers.
I don't know if
And
it
It's
was
so
10
cold
minutes,
outside, Zach.
but
How is he gonna stay
Huh?
warm?
No.
well, I mean, her flamethrower ran out first before the other dudes. So
Well,
then it became flamethrower versus the hose, the water hose.
that's what I was gonna get to. She ran out, and
I mean,
then
I feel like that scene should have come quicker because I feel like it was just dragged out up until that point.
You know what?
Because they use it a lot.
You know what? To play devil's advocate here, like I can kind of understand where Zach's coming from because there were a lot of lingering shots or just like, guys, look, this guy's literally on fire and burning and dying. Like when she was
But
out
they
in
were
the
doing that
street.
on purpose because they were like
Yeah,
showing you,
because
like,
showing you, yeah.
look how hard our guys are working for this shot.
Yeah, like let's celebrate this guy burning and maybe agony, not really, but like because even outside there, when she like jumps those guys, she's like, "Guess what? You're all on fire now." Like, no two people are not on fire, and it was like so like I get where he's coming from. Me liking flamethrowers, I thought that was really cool. I thought it was like, is this sequence made for me? Like, what is
Yes.
happening here?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And then going back, Danny, you're talking about like let's get creative on how do I stop a guy with a flamethrower.
yeah, you use water.
That was
The
really
a lot of
cool. though.
water.
Water thrower.
You just call it a hose? The water
Sure.
thrower? No, it's a hose. I like seeing a bit of like this is like her desperation. Like she went in that shop. Like, oh my god, like this guy's not letting up, and then she
Well,
rolls
she
up there
used
like
different settings in the hose, depending on how far away she was.
yeah, that was smart because like okay, getting closer. We're gonna need to like hit it with the big hose. Like she became a volunteer firefighter for the day, for the rest of the night. And then yeah, like that's like the ultimate like the uh that altogether kind of like John Wick coming in. I think like he doesn't he shoot the guy.
Yeah, he shoots a couple people.
Yeah, well, like he shot the
He,
guy that Eve was fighting.
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the second in command for the Chancellor. So like, yeah, he ends up shooting him, and then it's like, all right, go get your guy because you don't got much time left.
And then they
And then
realize that he was helping her, and then they find him at one point, and then he's like, "Oh, you guys came after me? Bad move.
big mistake. Yeah, and like it's like a
Bad
clock
move."
tower or something, and he's just there like whooping that ass, like just everything, like doing the whole like like double reload, shooting everywhere, guys like getting shot as they fall down. The hand to hand combat that just ended in just like his quick takedowns. Just vintage John Wick, which is great. We got some of vintage John Wick, and we got the cool creative stuff going on with Eve.
There's even a point where one of these guys, like, they were going to run into the room where John Wick was fighting somebody else, and one guy's like, "I'm not going in there. That's the Baba Yaga," or he says something like that. And then, like, right after that, he gets shot. It's just like,
Yeah,
it's
he's
like,
like,
yeah,
it's the Baba
man,
Yaga. It's
good.
like, no, but he's just a man. It's like, don't ever say
It's
he's
like,
just a
dude,
man.
he's
You're
not the man.
dead.
They said that in the Matrix, and it didn't work. Like, guys, you need to learn.
Yeah, like it's over. Killed the man with a pencil in part 2. So good. Uh, yeah, and then from there, we that's how we get to like the final thing where she finally confronts the Chancellor, um, introduces him to a bullet in the face, saves the girl. Funny enough, randomly, like
But he tries to escape, right? He, like, gets in the
no,
car
like
and
he
tries
was
to
like
escape.
good. He was like in like middle monologue, or he's like, yeah, but he just and then she just said, nah, shut up and die. Like he got hit with the Taken. Like it was like almost like towards the end of his monologue. She's like, all right, no, enough of this. Like you guys gotta go. So and then that's Ella gets reunited with Daniel Pine, which I don't know if Norman Reedus has like a I don't die in any of my movies clause, but other than Blade 2, like that man doesn't die in any of his movies. It's pretty out of hand. I don't know if anyone else can think of it trivia wise, but I was just like, yo, they shot him. Like he should be like like he dead, but
I mean, all they need to do is shoot him in the shoulder, and it would have been an automatic death.
or the head because everybody died with a headshot in
No, the shoulder's easier, man.
the shoulder. I mean, it is, yeah. Shoot for
It's
both
a
better advance.
wider area.
Yeah, hit the artery, you win. And then that's where at the end it's like it seems like like Eve is, I guess, kind of like John Wick is cast out in a sense where John Wick is more just like this floating around doing his own thing, and then Eve is now floating around doing her own thing, seeing her friend that was trying to be part of the Ruska Roma, but then she went off to be an actual professional dancer. She's watching her old friend. She sees the bounty on her like be crazy high. It's like a couple million short of John Wick, and she's seeing everybody in the theater that are part of the High Table Society looking at their phones, and the game is afoot. It's a cool little way to, and then she's like dressed more in like the black suit, like John Wick style. So it's kind of almost like, okay, she graduated and she leveled up. So that was really cool.
All right, so I have a question. So we were talking about this a little bit before that. So this movie takes place in between like John Wick's 3 and 4, because we saw John Wick at the beginning. At the end of John Wick 3, he gets shot by Winston on the roof, and then he falls off, and then they try to find him, and they don't find him. So we just assumes he ran away somewhere. And then the beginning of John Wick 4, he's on some mission on horseback in the desert. So we don't know what happened between there. So we're just assuming the
But do we know how
stuff.
much? Do we know how
Right.
far the time frame is between part 3 and 4?
No, but I don't think it's that long. I think it's maybe like months at best. Because remember, the first like movies 2 and 3 are like right after each other. And like I highly doubt it was like a few years between 3 and 4. I highly doubt that. Because I think 2, 3, and 4, there's not much time in between those 3 movies.
Time difference between 3 and 4 is 6 months.
Okay.
Wow, that man healed from like a 20-story fall really
Well,
fast.
it wasn't even just that fall.
And
It was like
the
and the
first
2
3
movies before that.
movies,
Yeah.
yeah, the first 3 movies take place within a couple weeks.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts.
But 3 to 4 is 6 months, which is kind of crazy.
So this mission that he goes and does for the Ruska Roma, that was one of my questions as to like, so what is he just like living with in those 6 months? Is he living with them and then thus just doing side jobs for them, even though he is trying to get out of like the assassin
I
business?
don't think so. I
That's why I'm
think
a little
because
confused.
she's in Europe, so maybe they just like tracked him down and was like, "Yo, do this for us. We'll help you out." And he's like, I guess.
And then another thing that I think that they might have missed, because or at least I didn't notice, didn't they? I think this was in 3. Didn't the bad guy in 3, like the final boss, uh, didn't they slice Angelica Houston's hands? Like they put a sword through both her hands, and so she has
Yeah,
holes in her hands. So,
she got
so
better.
did she not have holes in her hands in this movie?
I was
Because that
looking for them. I
I
didn't see
don't
it. I'll be
right.
honest with you. Like
I
she
think
was
they
on
might
the
have
phone
forgotten.
talking to the chancellor. I'm just like, all right, you know what?
I, I think they might have just forgotten it.
Yeah,
Because I was looking at that. That's why that was one of the things I was confused about the timeline. I'm like, well, if this is between 3 and 4, then she should have holes in her hands or at least like bandages or something.
yeah,
And they didn't really show it. She kind of looked like she was living all well and nothing was wrong, and she didn't just go up against, some people from the high table in the third movie.
yeah. Well, that's why they didn't like kill her. They just like, hey, give me your hands. Ouchie. It's like
That's the reaction when
that's
someone puts a sword through your hand. Both of them.
exact. That's how I felt like in the movies. Like,
Ouchie.
ouchie. Oh no, it hurt. It's like how like now John Wick has a bulletproof suit.
Like I
You
knew
know,
she didn't die because even the punishment that Lawrence Fishburne's character got, he got like what 7 or 8 slices from that same sword.
yeah.
And he
He
just got
got
all cut up, but he
7
didn't
bullets,
die.
7
So
cuts.
yeah,
Yeah. 7. Yeah.
the
Oh,
bell
zero. Dude,
ring.
zero was out of hand. Yeah, zero was nuts. Yeah, that was hilarious.
But yeah, no, that was just my only thing. I was like, oh, I'm confused about how this fits and why he would even be doing this in between these movies. Um, and I don't know. I feel like maybe they needed one line between John Wick and Angelica Houston's character of like, hey, if you do this for me, like I have information on this person in the high table, and if you do this, I'll give the information to you, and then that leads him to the desert scene in the fourth movie.
Yeah, like if a
But
little
like
bit
they didn't have
more.
that. They
Yeah.
didn't have that. So it's just like, how is this connecting? Unless they make a Ballerina 2, and then Ballerina 2 is still in between 3 and 4, and then it connects that way. But I just don't know if that's happening, or if whenever they do a John Wick 5, if she just ends up being in John Wick 5 because they meet up at some point.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep.
Still don't know how they're gonna do a John Wick 5 because of the way the
Yeah, the
fourth
way
one
John Wick 4
ended.
ended. I'm totally okay with them not doing that. Yeah, like
No, we need more.
we need more. No, I don't think. Yeah, like it's kind of like, I guess
Before was so
we
good.
need more, but I don't know if there's more of stuff. But speaking of more, like we're supposed to be getting one of Donnie Yen's character, which he had great fight sequences in John Wick 4.
Oh, he was so
So
good.
yeah, like that was fighting blind, like that's pretty badass. So
All right.
there you go.
RIP again to Lance Reddick. He was in this movie, so I
Second to
believe,
last build
yeah,
credit. Yeah, man. Lance Reddick was the G.
because he did. I think he did this. I think he did this and 4, like roughly around the same time. Um, and then I think he passed away soon after. So I think
Yeah,
these were his last 2 movies that he was in. Maybe there was another one, but I think it was these last 2.
for sure. Yeah, it was nice. I think it was nice to see. Like I didn't see in the credits there was like in memoriam for Lance Reddick or something.
Because
Like
they had it for John Wick 4.
yeah, they did it for. Okay, they should have still done it for. I need more. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, they should.
It was cool. Like he was still really good in it, obviously. Um, and that's kind of like sets up. If there's any other stories that they want to tell with Eve Macaro, they can. It's the word of mouth is pretty good. Hopefully, it gets enough to kind of, hopefully get more. We'll have to just wait and see. But we have some other stuff being looked forward to. Again, Donnie Yen's thing, a possible part 5. What if it's like, it'd be funny if it was like an ultimate prequel or something. But, you know,
Hmm.
overall, if you're a fan, I don't know if anybody
What do
else
you guys
wants to say
think?
anything else kind of about, what you guys think overall. Great action movie. Have you seen, not want to watch it like again, or would you recommend someone not to watch it?
I mean, if you like all the John Wick movies, I'd say watch it.
Yeah, like go out of your way to watch it. It's so good, or it's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I think we all enjoyed it. It was cool. It was still fun, and like we mentioned before, the action was inventive. It wasn't just one note, and it wasn't just a straight up copy of John Wick's fighting style. Um, but the story is whatever. It's very
Very
whatever.
paper thin. It's
Yeah, it's
very
very
paper
whatever.
thin.
Even the bad guy is like, ugh. It's just like very classic a-hole bad guy and
Yeah, I would have liked to know
weird.
more about this whole cult. Like why like the cult is such a thing. Like why
Yeah,
were
and
they so like
why was he like the boss? Like he did really nothing much to show that like why he's the boss. It was just like, no, he's just the boss of this weird cult and the
just
whole
weird
town.
that's entire of an entire like town. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah, so I mean, not to say that like, oh, the story in the other John Wick movies are great, but I'd say they're better than they are in this movie. Um, but no, I mean, to me it's a good addition to like expansion of the world of John Wick. I don't know if I would say it's like better than any of the John Wick movies, but it's not a bad movie either. Like it's a good action movie. So if you want an action movie, just like Danny said, if you like the other John Wick movies, you would probably like this movie because the action's really cool. So
yeah,
I
like
recommend it
add it to your collection.
to your watch list.
100%. Yeah. Zach, any final thoughts? Other than too much
No,
fire, not enough water?
yeah, too much fire. The water was
The CGI
not
wasn't that
shown
good with
enough.
the water.
The water was too much on ice. Is what he's saying. Prague water doesn't help.
The
But
water wasn't
the
watery.
scenery though, in that whole section was very nice.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
yeah,
really
like
The
I
nice.
would
Like
shots, the
go to that
shots that they
town.
did, and that was so cool.
Yeah, I'd like to like go there without
People
getting
trying to kill
murdered.
you everywhere.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, man.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
like it just came out.
overall,
Yeah, yeah. Like we're recording this, the movie had just come out like 2 weeks prior, so it's still like it's still popping a little bit. Summer is. I mentioned in our opener, there's a lot coming out. We're calling it our summer blockbuster series for these next few months or so. So it's pretty hype, pretty exciting. So it only adds to how good these movies have been this summer so far. Pretty cool. So with that, definitely suit up, get your flamethrower ready, heat up your popcorn, and have a snack while watching this awesome movie. So transitioning over next time, we're going to be going into the second live action remake from our from an animated film. Been very excited. We're looking forward to talking about How to Train Your Dragon. I know Zach is basically going to be taking that episode over, which I'm all for because y'all are probably sick of hearing me talk. So
Nah.
spoilers. The water was wet, guys.
Look at that.
Is water wet?
No, we're not doing this. No, I'm shutting that down. We'll talk about it next
Find out
week.
next time.
Yeah, find out next time.
On Dragon.
How
to Train Your Dragon
How to
Ball
Train Your
Z.
Dragon Ball Z. Damn it, he got me. That was really good. Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you next time for our summer blockbuster series. Take care, everybody.
Later.
Later.
Bye. Bye.